Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Dan Morris. I am the headmaster of Pembroke Academy, and I'm really looking forward to having all of your students here in our building beginning this summer and next year. Let me start with the obvious, which is that we typically do this in person. We can't do that this year for a variety of reasons. So what we've done is we've decided to produce this video, and we're going to share this with you. It will kind of walk through what the transition period looks like for 8th grade students as they begin to take the leap into high school, and what systems we have in place to support them. And then it will also highlight a couple of events that will take place over their 4 years here at Pembroke Academy as a Spartan. So what I would like to do with that is to begin by talking about what it means to become a Spartan. So becoming a Spartan really starts with this video. We're going to provide some cursory information, and then we're going to invite all of our students and parents to our building in March for a parent information night. And that will be hosted by myself and our curriculum director, Ms. Parkinson, and our director of student services, Mrs. Michaud. And at that, we'll kind of get a little bit more in depth, not only about the experience becoming a high schooler, but also looking at the registration process and how to go through that. So then later in March, school counselors will visit every sending school, and they will provide every incoming 8th grader with this, a program of study. And so this program of study is going to have descriptions of every class and what classes they can take. It also has on the back an outline of what classes need to be taken for the requirements to become a graduating Pembroke Academy senior. So that's an important resource. We have also changed our registration process. It is now completely online. And we did that. I would say we were moving in that direction, but it kind of got a little accelerated last spring. So this will now be our second year with a completely online registration process for our incoming freshmen. After that, we have Pushing Your Limits, which is our summer program. We have probably, I think over the past, this program's been around for over 15 years, and over that time, we've had approximately 95% of the incoming freshmen participate in that program. So essentially, it did look different last year, but in a traditional school year, PYL would mean that there would be a 2-week session where students are on campus in the summer from, I believe it's 9 to 2:30, and they are working with staff members, they are working with PYL counselors, which are upperclassmen, and they are beginning to introduce themselves to the campus and to begin to navigate the building a little bit. They also begin to develop friendships with other students from other sending towns, and it's really the first instance of students not being Pembroke students, Epsom students, Chichester students, Allentown students, Hooksett students, but instead Pembroke Academy students. Then we will have freshman orientation, which takes place the day before the first day of school in a traditional school year. It was different this past year, and we're hoping that we can get back to a little bit of normalcy for next year. So the intent, anyway, is that we would have a freshman orientation day the day before the first day of school. And the way that starts is that parents and students would come in, we would host them for a breakfast, and then we would have parents and students come into the auditorium, and we would kind of introduce our administrators, and then students would leave the auditorium and they would walk through an abbreviated schedule of their day. And that helps them to kind of navigate the building a little bit and know where their classes are without any other students in the building. So while the students are doing that, administrators stay behind in the auditorium with parents, and we answer your questions. And then your students are done with their schedule and they prep for the next day, which is the big day with everyone in the building. We offer many different clubs here at Pembroke Academy. One that I really want to highlight is our robotics club. We have a robotics club that doesn't only stand out locally, but it excels in state competitions. This is a program that has had a tremendous amount of success at the national level and competes and has success at the world's level. So robotics is certainly a highlight of our school. And if you have any students that are interested in math or engineering or science or STEAM, that's the place for them. Drama, we have a drama program that does a musical and a straight play every year. Student Senate, we, similar to how we have opportunities for performers to perform and for athletes to, demonstrate their proficiency on the field. We also have opportunities for our student leaders to be leaders, and Student Senate is one of those areas. That also goes for class officers. So that's your class president, your class vice president, treasurer, and secretary. We have an anime club. Not sure what that is, but they seem to have a good time. A media club, band, chorus, wellness club, key club, and many more. Okay, in terms of co-curricular sports, we do compete in Division II. We have a full complement of fall sports, including field hockey, soccer, football. Our winter sports include basketball and skiing. And our spring sports include softball, lacrosse, baseball. We have cross country in the fall, track in the spring, unified volleyball is in the winter, and bass fishing is also in the fall. We have fall and winter spirit. We have a very high participation rate for all of our clubs and sports, and I think that both the clubs and the sports are a great way for our students to get the most out of their high school experience and to meet new friends and really become contributing members of our school community. I want to talk a little bit about our master schedule. So the way that our schedule works is we start the school day at 7:30 and we end at 2:20. We have 3 different kinds of days. We have Spartan days, green days, and white days. A Spartan day would be that a student would go through all 8 classes. All right, and so there are 8 periods, and they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and those are shorter classes. Those are approximately 43 minutes apiece. Then green days are going to be odd classes, so that's 1, 3, 5, and 7, and those days are going to have longer class periods that are 87 minutes apiece, and that really allows for like our science classes to have pretty in-depth labs. It allows for our social studies classes and our English classes to have pretty in-depth debates and Socratic seminars. That allows for our band class to really get into it and work on their pieces and really, measure by measure and fine-tune things. So it really, that block schedule with those 87-minute classes really work out well for a number of our content areas. Then white days are the same thing as green days with blocks 2, 4, 6, and 8. A good way to remember which comes first, green or white. What are the colors of Pembroke Academy? Everyone always says green first. Okay, so what are the colors of Pembroke Academy? Green, white. So it's blocks 1, 3, 5, and 7 for green days. White days are blocks 2, 4, 6, and 8. On green and white days, there is also a 17-minute period of the day called advisory. There was a lot of research conducted about 10 years ago that showed that it was really important that every student had a connection in the building with a staff member that was not related to an academic score. And so the idea of advisories was born out of that research. This is pretty common in a number of, I would say the majority of American high schools have something similar to this. But it's really a point person that your student can connect with. They're going to meet with pretty frequently. Advisories meet 4 days a week in our schedule, and a student's advisor their freshman year will continue to be their advisor sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. So again, that's 17 minutes. That is a time to kind of just connect, say, hey, how are things going, check in. It's also, particularly for freshmen, it's a really important time to, use those advisor teachers as resources and say, hey, where is this? Can you help me with this? How would I navigate this situation? Who would I get in touch with if I needed X, Y, or Z? So advisories are really important for that too. Our school goals: kindness matters, achievement matters, and you matter. I can't guarantee that those will be our school goals next year. However, this has been our second year with those goals, and I think it has been really important. And we've emphasized these as we have gone through our COVID experience. And they have been kind of a good North Star for us as we go through this and really talking about, why is it important that people feel like they matter and those social emotional connections, and how do we maintain an emphasis that achievement matters when we're, going between all of these different instructional modalities, between remote and hybrid and all of that. And through all of this, because it's obviously been a very stressful experience, it's also important that people take time to respect one another. You know, one of the things I always like to say is we can't always control what happens to us, but we can always control our reaction. We can always make a decision on how we're going to react to that. Academics. I think most people will find that there is a progression between freshman year to senior year where there's increasingly more choice in a student's academics as they go through their high school experience. So as freshmen, most freshman schedules are very similar. Most freshmen are going to take fitness fundamentals, they're going to take global studies, they're going to take like an Algebra 1 class, they're going to take Gateway English. I mean, those things are all pretty standard. However, as you go through, you know, sophomore year, a lot of electives are going to open up for students, and they're going to be able to take different electives. Junior year, students have the ability to take advanced placement classes, or to take, to participate in the Concord Regional Technical Center program. Juniors and seniors can also take part in what we call dual enrollment and running start classes, which are classes in which we partner with local colleges and universities like Southern New Hampshire University or the New Hampshire Technical Institute, and students can, for a very small amount of money, like $100, students can go through the curriculum they would be doing anyway and earn college credit. And a student could graduate from Pembroke Academy having taken the same classes that they would take anyway, but because they took advantage of the dual enrollment program, they could graduate from high school with between 9, 12, 15 college credits under their belt, which is pretty helpful, and by the way, at a significantly reduced rate than what it would be had they paid tuition at the college. So, again, there's a progression between a little bit more restricted at the beginning, and then as students begin to become more responsible and begin to really understand what their interests are and begin to identify the paths that they want to take, both for graduation and post-graduation, then it becomes way more personalized sophomore, junior, and certainly senior year. And school counselors are an incredible resource for all of this. School counselors meet with all of their freshman students, and at the beginning it's a check-in and kind of trying to assist in terms of providing resources and figuring out how to navigate the building and situations, but it very quickly moves into, well, what are you interested in? Okay, so you're interested in communication. Let's talk about getting you an internship at a local radio station or whatever that case may be. So it really starts to get into a little bit more of a personalized, future-focused pathway as you move through high school. Another item that I want to talk about are extended learning opportunities. And an extended learning opportunity is an opportunity that happens outside of the classroom. Now, that could be an independent study. That could be traveling with the school. So this is a group that traveled to Greece. And as you can see, they're having a good time. These are former Pembroke Academy students, and they could earn credit for this by obviously traveling, making the trip, but then reflecting on it and meeting certain competencies, and then they could earn elective credit for that. So that's an example of a extended learning opportunity that enriches them, and then also through their reflection and whatever they use to demonstrate what they learned, they can also benefit from it from a credit standpoint, which is helpful. We also have some traditions here at Pembroke Academy, and the three that I really want to talk about are Homecoming, Winter Carnival, and the Wellness Fair. Homecoming is obviously an event that happens in the fall. It's Homecoming week is a big week for our fall athletics. There's typically a homecoming dance, and that's really a good opportunity, particularly for our freshman class, to begin to meet new people, freshmen from sending towns, upperclassmen, and begin to get a better sense of what it means to be a Spartan. Winter Carnival is when the classes compete against one another. Winter Carnival has been around forever, and that typically happens the final week before February vacation. And in a traditional school year, we would spend 2 days in the gym just prior to February vacation. And there are all sorts of competitions and skits and tomfoolery, and people have a great time. And then in the spring, we have Wellness Fair, and that's really an opportunity for all of our students and staff to engage in activities that promote wellness. And those could be activities like athletics, hiking, running, tennis, but they also could be activities that promote wellness, like, you know, jigsaw puzzling and journaling and playing an instrument and those sorts of things. So there are a wide range of activities that students can take part in during Wellness Fair, and that takes place in the spring, which is nice because it's, you know, about the time when the weather starts getting a lot nicer and people, you know, want to engage in those things. And it's also a good way for students to try something new and for staff to model the things that they do to kind of stay even and keep their equilibrium through all of this. And then finally, after 4 years, we get to graduation. And, you know, graduation is one of my favorite days of the year. And it's really the culmination of a lot of hard work. Certainly a lot of hard work for our students, but the students didn't get there alone. You know, it's also a culmination of a lot of hard work for our staff and for our parents. And I really think of graduation as a great community event because it really does take a community to you know, to raise these children and to get them to become productive members of society, which is the ultimate goal after all. So that is a kind of a general 3,000-foot view at the 4 years of Pembroke Academy, with some added emphasis on what the transition looks like from now until late summer. All right, thank you very much. Go PA and have a great day.